Hello, dear students. How are you all? Welcome back to Geography class. Previous class, we were discussing the chapter Industries. We learnt about types of industries. Based on the parameters being used, industries can be classified into different ways. That is, on the basis of scale and on the basis of raw materials. On the basis of scale, we learnt about cottage industries, small scale industries, and large scale industries. And on the basis of raw materials, we learnt about agro based industries, that is, agricultural based industries, forest based industries, and mineral based industries. Today, let's learn what are the factors influencing location of industries. For an industry to be profitable, choosing a proper place is very important. So, location must be chosen very carefully. Several factors play a role in determining the location of industries. Let's see one by one. First is proximity, that is, nearness to raw materials. Industries are generally located where supply of raw materials is near. This has two benefits. Firstly, it reduces the cost and difficulties of transportation. If the industry is very far from the place of raw material sector, then the cost of transportation is more, and even transportation is very difficult, especially for industries that has heavy or bulky raw materials such as iron and steel industry. Secondly, let's consider chocolate industry where raw products is milk. If the industry is far from raw product sector, then it consumes lot of time in transportation. So there will be chances of spoilage because this is perishable raw materials. That is, it decays very easily. If it is near, it reduces losses due to spoilage, especially in the case of industries that process perishable raw materials like milk and sugarcane. Next is availability of labor. Industries are dependent on skilled, semi skilled, and unskilled workers. That is labor intensive. We studied before, mainly labor intensive is like cottage industries. Especially in cottage industries, they are labor intensive, are usually situated close to well populated areas. Why? Because they can hire a bigger workforce at a lower cost. Next is proximity to markets, that is, nearness to markets. Industries enjoy certain advantages when they are located near their markets. It saves transportation cost and storage cost. It eliminates intermediaries, that is, middlemen, who add to the cost of production. So, who are this middleman? They are the person who act as a link between buyers and sellers. They're also called mediators. It facilitates early delivery of perishable like food products which decay quickly. Such perishable products. This is especially important in the case of industries that process perishable goods like milk, vegetables, and flowers. Next is efficient systems of transportation. Well developed and efficient system of transportation such as railways, roadways, airways and waterways are needed for the movement of raw materials and finished goods. Industries flourish in areas in India that are well connected so that transportation is very easy. For example, in India, the coastal areas and the Indo Gangetic Plain, with their excellent network of roads, railways, and ports, are favored centers of large scale industries. So, coastal areas, why? Because we have harbors there. And Indo Gangetic Plain it is a flat plain where we get an excellent network of roads, railways, and ports. Next is availability of power and water. A cheap and steady source of power is essential for industries. Earlier, when industries were dependent on coal for energy, so before the coal was used as fuel to generate electricity. The coal is burned and the heat given off is used to convert water into steam, which drives a turbine. So many factories were located near coal mining, that is, coal mines. Now, industries also use hydroelectric power, that is, electricity from water, wind energy, and oil. Hydroelectric projects generally have industries located close by, but industries that use oil are not tied to particular location because oil can be transported through pipelines. Next is government aid. Government incentives. So, what is meant by incentives? It is a thing that motivates or encourage, and some policies also influence the location of industries. Why government is encouraging industries? Because government agencies provide land, power, and water at low rates to draw industries to particular areas. So these particular areas or such areas which is underdeveloped. This is done to promote the overall development of those areas. For example, special incentives are given by the government for setting up projects in the less developed areas of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. Next is availability of capital. Easy access to capital, that is, the money and machineries needed for an industry, is another factor that influences the location of some industry. So, we had discussed in the last class that large industries require more money for development. So, what they do? Industries that require large inputs of capital are often located near towns and cities. Why? Because bank and other financial institution facilities are nearby in the cities from which they can borrow money easily. So, this is about today's class. Learn well. See you in the next class. Thank you.